Capturing the 1992 World Turkey Calling Championship, Mark Drury is one of the country's most fierce competitors in the pro turkey calling circuit today. He is a multi-talented caller and hunter. His well-attended turkey hunting and calling seminars throughout the country prove this fact. In Spring Break, Mark will show you that his hunting ability complements his talent as a caller and videographer, as he is fast becoming a leading producer of quality turkey hunting adventures. In his never-ending effort to learn the habits of the wild turkey, Terry Drury has become a master at the sport. Terry is dedicated to do what it takes to bag a spring gobbler, and in Spring Break, you will see the results of his true love for the sport of turkey hunting. Terry's hunting skills have been successful throughout the country, proving that good woodsmanship and common sense are the two key ingredients to becoming a very good turkey hunter. With a large amount of raw hunting and calling talent, Steve Stoltz's rise to the top of the turkey hunting field comes as no surprise. Steve's tremendous success in the pro turkey calling circuit proves that striving for perfection produces positive results. In Spring Break, Steve brings over 20 years of turkey hunting experience and 13 years of competitive turkey calling together to create a deadly combination. When you hear of a person who spends most of his or her time in the woods, then you know Dale Dinker Wipfler. His continuing effort to film the wild turkey and other wildlife year-round has not only made Dale a successful turkey hunter, but also a very successful pro turkey caller with several state and regional turkey calling titles to his credit. Needless to say, Dale has been the backbone of the Drury Outdoors film team, and in Spring Break, Dale shows his versatility not only as a cameraman, but as a hunter as well.
The wild turkey relies greatly on his defense system. We've broken this system down into 5 major categories that we feel were the keys to his survival. Those categories are his thought process, his wary behavior, his mobility, his hearing, and I think most importantly of all, his eyesight.
We've not only outlined this overall defense system, but we broke it down into those 5 categories, and we took it one step further. We broke each individual category down to help you outwit your next spring longbeard. So hopefully you'll turn the ball in your favor and not in the spring longbeards.
As in the past, we hunted across the country this year and found that the defense system of each of these longbeards was the same, regardless of the time of the year, where we were hunting, or the species.
That's for sure, Terry. Like I always say, everybody get ready, because we're going to take you on a spring break.
You know, we're talking about breaking down a gobbler's defense system. To me, the most important part is the thought process. Man's ability to consciously reason. It's a luxury that man has. You know, a turkey doesn't have that luxury. They act on 2 things. 1, their instinctive behavior, and 2, their conditioned responses. And when I refer to instinctive behavior and conditioned responses, I'm talking about things such as feeding patterns, roosting patterns, dusting patterns, and those types of things. You know, a man can take a given situation, examine that situation, and act on it. And that's exactly what Mark and I did on the next hunt. We observed some birds that were feeding along a hillside in Oklahoma. And we felt that these birds were going to try and get to a watering hole, and from that watering hole onto a roost site. So we took that given situation, we examined it closely, and we acted upon it. We got between where they were and where they wanted to go. And Mark was able to harvest this beautiful spring gobbler.
Open terrain can oftentimes prove to be difficult when hunting wild turkeys. We were forced to view these birds from a distance of nearly a half mile. Finally, we had a hill between us and them. Then we decided to move in.
If we can get to that brush right there, that'll hide our movement.
It looks like there's a ditch there. Let's see if we can't get to that and maybe lay down in that ditch.
I'm gonna check it one time.
Go ahead. I thought I heard a gobble.
Oh, if you did, it was this.
It was pretty far. Let's go.
The first two birds in were hens. They crested the hill right on top of us. We were hoping now that the gobbler we had viewed from atop the hill would follow right behind.
That is what it's all about. He did just exactly what we thought he was going to do. He was coming into this water hole exactly where he was headed.
I'll tell you what, that goes to show how important it is to get. I read an article a long time ago that you're not going to kill a turkey unless you pick between where they're at and where they want to go.
He was certainly heading to water.
As luck would have it, we figured out that they were going to the water hole. Man, how long did that take? It took an hour from the time that we first saw them on the hill to the time we set up down here, and then we finally snuck up.
Anyway, we had to drop pretty quick.
That's what you call a flash hunt. That's what where they're at, where they want to go.
It worked out excellent.
I know. Let me get my best one. He's a good bird.
Yeah, he's nice.
Good bird.
Tell you what, I might just carry him out for you.
Oh, yeah. I kind of like this fish. I don't mind it too bad. See that arm movement? Woo! Yeah. Getting between where a gobbler's at and where he wants to go is just one way that we use our thought processes to outwit spring longbeards. Another trick that we like to pull out of our hat is something that we call double trouble. We like to try and sound like two hens rather than one and let that gobbler think that there's more than one hen doing the calling. If you have a partner and you can set him 10 to 15 yards behind you and have him call the same time you are, sometimes you're twice as effective. Here, Ronnie Cuz Strickland and I do exactly that. And Ronnie's lucky enough to connect on a 23-pound, triple-bearded Missouri monster.
Many of you probably already know Ronnie Strickland from his role in the successful Truth series of videos by Primos Wild Game Calls. Ronnie now works full-time as Public Relations Director for Mossy Oak Camouflage. I felt honored to join him for the first eastern wild turkey he had ever taken on camera.
Back here scratching in the leaves, and I was scratching in the leaves. We started getting a little bit, not loud, but excited when
Right.
we called, and this guy went nuts.
He went crazy.
I heard him running for
Yeah.
about 100 yards.
I know. He gobbled I don't know how many times coming in. And I've had really good luck doing that. Whenever you can give them two different sounds and make it sound like a group of turkeys rather than just one, I think it adds to the overall excitement of it and adds to the appeal for the turkey.
Well, I tell you what, I'm like you. I've been videoing for so long, and I concentrate so hard when you're behind the camera, but out there with a gun, buddy, I thought I was going to
Was you fired up?
When I saw like 3 different heads at 3 different times and 3 different fans, I didn't know which way to point. I felt like I was going to do a donut around that tree waiting for turkeys to come in like it was Texas or something. Man, I was glad to see him finally step up there.
Ray did a good shot on him.
Man, this thing right here just hammered him. I just pointed in that general direction.
Awesome.
A 3-bearded turkey.
3 bears. Congratulations,
Hey,
buddy. I
appreciate
enjoyed it. I sure did.
Me too.
Thanks a lot.
Cuz and Mark proved to be double trouble for that gobbler. I think Cuz was just tickled to be the hunter instead of the cameraman for a change. You know, I mentioned earlier that the thought process was man's only advantage. Well, the wary behavior of the wild turkey is but one of the many advantages that they have. You know, it often seems that a turkey can react to a hunter's mistake before it ever happens, which is one of the many reasons that you've always got to keep your guard up and stay mentally alert. We're about to show you a couple of hunts where Mark and I let our guards down completely. In the first hunt, I chose a terrible place to prop my gun, and in the second hunt, Mark finds out just how hard it is to try and discharge his Mossberg without having the chamber completely closed. a fine bird, and what a major mistake. Once those hens committed to the left side of that tree, I should have had my gun barrel on that side of the tree so that when the gobbler popped out, I was ready to shoot. Instead, I made a major mistake, committed to the fork of that tree, and limited my view of sight to about a 30-degree area. So if you have the chance where you're setting up, set up in front of a tree where you have about 180 degrees. Because of the wary behavior of that gobbler, I tried to move, as you can see on the film. I tried to pull my gun back out and get around to the side of the tree, and he didn't allow it. He didn't stand for it. So if you have the chance to set up in front of a tree and give yourself 180 degrees of viewing distance, do that. Because once you limit yourself to that fork, or fork in a tree, you've really restricted yourself.
As I sat working this gobbler, I was laughing, thinking about how stupid Terry had been the day before. Anyone knows you don't stick your gun barrel in the fork of a tree. Little did I know, I was sitting here with a gun that would never go off, regardless of how hard I squeezed that trigger.
About a major mistake. At least when I had mine in that fork, I had my gun, I had the shells in my gun. We might get him back up here, Mark. He's hot. Let's change positions and try and strike him.
Were you on it good?
Oh, yeah. I was on.
Squeeze it, squeeze it. Now, did you hear it?
I heard you try. What was the problem there?
I was loading my gun this morning, and I put the shell in the chamber. And when I closed it, I did that, and I didn't do that. And then I couldn't get the shot off, and I tried several times to get it up in there. And it wasn't.
Sounds like a mental mistake to me.
Just bad luck, I tell you. I never had such bad luck.
You need to have oil just flying out of it. When you close that chamber, the oil just gets all over your glasses and everything. That's what you need. Take it from an old hunter.
I take it from a pro. Man, he was right there too.
Call that bad luck, or call it a big mental mistake on my part. That turkey slipped away. Here's a turkey that wasn't quite so lucky, and it's all because we went out of our way to get above the bird and not work him from below. You know, the turkey's wary behavior makes them nervous or resistant at times to come into certain positions. I like to try and find what I call a comfort zone, someplace that gobbler is very comfortable into working into. For me, this is generally going to be an elevation at least equal with the gobbler or above him. If you can get above the gobbler, I think your success ratio will soar.
It took me about 25 or 30 minutes to get off of the lake and up above the roosted turkey. I didn't mind taking this time because I prefer waiting for a gobbler to fly down before I begin working him. As you can see this morning, I made sure that my gun was loaded and the chamber was completely closed.
Field. There's turkey droppings, turkey tracks up in here. You should be right down this point. You just gobble. Let's get set up. This is a point leading up to the field. I think you'll work up this point.
The call I was using this morning is one of my personal favorites. It's a limb hanger from Primos. The thin prophylactic reeds give me a full range of turkey talk, from these forceful yelps all the way down to the soft talk you need when a gobbler is close.
some kind of gobbler.
Pick him up. Let's see.
What a neat feeling. You talk about foggy. You look neat coming up through that fog. What a nice turkey. Fantastic spurs on this bird. I'd say they'd go over 1 1/8 inch, not quite 1 1/4 inch, but needle sharp. He's a real limb hanger. They've got nice hook to him, good beard. I'll tell you, I've never used a sight quite like this one, but I really like it. This is a new sight by Mossberg. It's called their Ghost Ring sight. What happens when you key in on that bird and you look down the peep on the front end, you immediately pick up the blaze orange sight on the front end. And you can really concentrate on keeping that bird's head centered within that ghost ring part. And whenever you get down and start to sight, keeping both eyes open, that ghost ring just disappears. You can barely see it, and you can really concentrate on putting a good shot on a turkey. I really like it. I think I'm going to continue to use it. I'll tell you the key to killing this turkey this morning. We started out below the bird. We heard the bird from in the bottom. Given the weather, the fog and the rain, and it rained all night last night, you can see the turkey's terribly wet. He took a drenching last night. We probably had him 1 inch of rain last night. We figured he might want to work to these fields right up here on top of the hill. We knew the fields were there. So we went about 25 minutes out of our way around the bird to get up above him. I like to set up above turkeys. I find that they like to work uphill, or at least on the same level, much more than they like to work down. I don't know the reason, but I do have better luck when I set up above. So if you can get to where that turkey wants to go, it's going to make it much easier for you to call any given bird in. The hard part's figuring out where they do want to go. In this case, our guess worked out pretty good. Oh man, you blistered it.
Oh, that is excellent.
What choke are you using in that gun?
I'm shooting an extra full.
You know, my gun with a regular full choke shoots good with Winchester number 6 shot.
Does it really?
Yeah.
See, now I've patterned a lot of shot sizes through this gun, and mine shot 4s the best, so I've been shooting number 4s.
You know, that goes to show you that each gun has a mind of its own, and if you don't shoot all the different shot sizes and try all the different chokes with your shotgun, you know, you have to make sure what works best for you.
That's a must. That is a must. I'll tell you, one of my deepest concerns throughout the season have been the fact that I was afraid the turkeys would see my gun.
Oh,
but lo and behold, Mossberg comes out with my favorite mossy oak pattern, tree stand, and puts it on a fine automatic.
Man, I'll bet this really blends in good in the woods too.
Oh, it is incredible. And it's got the synthetic stock and a ventilated rib, so it's really an excellent gun.
I noticed it had a 2-point sighting system too, and it comes up real easy. It's nice and light and a short barrel.
I love it.
Maneuver's
I
good
love
in the
it.
woods out
You know,
there.
I shopped around a whole bunch, and all I could tell you is that this was one of the best buys on the market today because of all the features that it's got. You can't beat it. You just can't beat it.
Well, that's good. I'll bet it does good on turkeys, too.
Oh, it is excellent. It is excellent.
The adage that says, the older you get, the wiser you get, sometimes applies to wild turkeys as well. It takes just a little extra sometimes to bring in a wary old gobbler. Watch how we place these feather flex decoys in a clearing but in line with a road where the gobbler would see the decoys as he passed the road. Notice the wary behavior of this gobbler as he comes down the road approaching the feather flex decoys.
I think he's right over here, Rex.
Right here you can see why we have chosen Featherflex decoys. They are so light and so mobile. You can set them up almost instantaneously. Perfect for hunters who hunt on the go like we do.
You know, that was one of the most beautiful gobblers I've ever harvested. You know, hearing is also an important part in breaking down a gobbler's defense system. A gobbler pays close attention to everything he hears in the woods. In this next hunt with my good friend Rudy Fusco, we used scratching in the leaves and clucking and purring to make that gobbler think there was a flock of feeding hens close by. And that brought him in the last 20 or 30 yards for the kill.
Steve starts out here working this turkey very hard. As soon as he felt that the bird wasn't coming, he was quick to go to the other end of the spectrum with his calling. This is a situation that occurs very frequently. Never be afraid to switch calls on a reluctant bird.
We'd never get that gobbler to come in the last 15 or 20 yards for Rudy to make the shot. You know, hearing can be brought to the other extreme as well. Sometimes when a group of gobblers are together, it takes a lot of loud, aggressive calling to get him to break off from the group and come in. In this next hunt with turkey hunting master Eddie Moyers, watch how he used a lot of loud, aggressive cutting and yelping to make a gobbler break away from the group and come in.
In this hunt, our #1 cameraman Dinker Whiffler, gets out in front of the camera and uses some subtle, yet inquisitive clucks and purrs to lure in a slightly reluctant gobbler. Oftentimes, a hunter will overlook things in his or her path between themselves and an oncoming gobbler. One tree can absorb just enough shot to keep a gobbler from going down on the first shot. Never hesitate to use a second shot on a bird if you feel it is needed to end your hunt quickly and cleanly.
The next defense system that the wild turkey certainly has in their advantage is that of mobility. Wild turkeys have been clocked at speeds in excess of 30 miles an hour on the ground and at speeds in excess of 50 miles an hour on wing. You couple that with a nearly instantaneous reaction and it's not hard to see that we're easily outdone. But there are things that hunters can do to give them some advantage, and that is utilize water with a boat if you can, if you have water in your hunting area, or maybe use a four-wheeler or a four-wheel drive to get into remote areas that aren't quite so pressured. Something that we like to use within our hunting is logging roads. Logging roads can get you from one place to another very quickly and very quietly. They also make for excellent strut zones. Turkeys are very willing to come onto a logging road and work in. Here, a good friend of mine, Shirley Grenoble, and I utilize a logging road to do just that. This gobbler works in like a charm.
If you have been involved in turkey hunting for any length of time, then you'll know the name Shirley Grenoble. Shirley has 30 years of turkey hunting and 20 years of outdoor writing to her credit. Her articles have appeared in magazines such as Outdoor Life and Turkey Call, and she is also a contributing editor for Turkey Hunter magazine. This past president of the Pennsylvania chapter of the National Wild Turkey Federation has been conducting seminars on safety wild turkey hunting for the past 15 years. Shirley speaks with experience, as she herself was shot in a 1989 hunting accident, and because of this, she is now an original member of the National Wild Turkey Hunter Safety Task Force. Watch as she connects with a beautiful Missouri spring gobbler.
We have affectionately termed this run as the Shirley Shuffle. Are you fired up? Oh.
I thought my heart was going to jump right out of my can't even lift him. Oh, is he nice? Some, look at that. Oh, wow, nice and thick. Gee. Look at that. Oh, man. He's a couple years old anyway. Gosh.
What a beautiful hunt. You know, Shirley and Mark used that logging road to break that gobbler's defense system down. Knowing a gobbler's daily routine can be the key to taking him when normal tactics won't work. We observed this gobbler 2 mornings in a row before the season fly out of the roost and into this open field. He'd then gather his hens and head east along this fence line towards river bottoms. When we set up on him, we set up in that fence line in his daily routine. Watch the reaction of this gobbler when he spots these feather flex decoys right in the direction that he wants to go.
White-tailed deer and wild turkeys oftentimes share the same habitat. If you look closely, you can spot a couple of feeding whitetails to the left of this oncoming gobbler. Watch closely here. We slowed this down so that you can actually see the wadding from Steve's shot make direct contact with the target.
Set up in a direction this gobbler likes to head off the roost. When they're not responding real well to calling, you got to get in the direction they're wanting to travel, take advantage of their defense system. 2 mornings in a row, a hunter had hunted this turkey. He'd come down along this fence line. So we came in here this morning, instead of getting set up above him, which is a classical way, we got set up in the direction that he had been heading from his roost area. Set the decoys up, got set up, and just did a little calling, and he came right in. There are ways to take advantage of gobblers like this, big old gobblers, and this is one of them. What a beautiful turkey.
You know, it's been proven that a wild turkey can see at 8 to 10 times better than a human being. Let me put that in perspective for you. Look out through the woods one time. Give yourself about 8 or 10 seconds. Take in everything you can in that amount of time. Then think about that. A wild turkey can look through the woods and pick up exactly what you did in 1 second. Not hard to see that he's definitely got an advantage here. You need to pay really close attention to how you conceal yourself whenever you go spring turkey hunting. Camouflage yourself from head to toe. Don't let anything show. If you wear glasses, take a head net that can go all the way around the frame so that the gobbler can't see that. Take your hat, pull it down a little bit if you can. Make sure you pay attention to your wrist. Pull your sleeves down. Pull your gloves up. Pay attention to your socks. Don't wear white socks. Cover those up with your leg coverings. You have to pay attention to those types of things. I've been hunting turkey for quite a few years, and I've never seen a pattern that conceals you any better than mossy oak camouflage does. Mossy oak will pick up the surroundings in almost any given situation. We hunt across the country, whether it's upstate New York or down south in Alabama or over in Oklahoma or here in the Midwest, here in Missouri. Mossy oak blends anywhere, and it actually has spoiled us. We'll set up, if we just have to drop down in a field, we'll set up. Or if the only tree we have is a small one, we'll set up right there. It doesn't make us any difference because mossy oak will immediately pick up the colors of any given terrain. Try it and see if it doesn't improve your turkey hunting success.
You know, whether you're a beginner or an experienced hunter, you've probably already found out that not every setup is going to be textbook perfect. Not always do you have big timber to break your outline. We're about to show you a hunt where concealment was the key to our success. Mark and I were forced to set up in a small patch of sagebrush out in the middle of a wide open prairie within about 100 yards of this gobbler. Tell you those, when he popped over that hill, he saw those decoys, and as soon as he really got an eyeball on them, then he decided, he finally committed. You know, I was afraid he wasn't going to come off of that break. Then once he committed, why?
Oh, man. Well, I tell you what, look what we're setting up. Well, these turkeys have done real well.
How far did we
go?
We just traveled a mile to get to that thing.
Oh, yeah, at least a mile. That road. It's at least a mile.
You know, the turkey's attention wasn't the only one we grabbed. We thought you would enjoy this piece of footage as our Featherflex decoys attract some other wild animals' stares. Now we join Carsey Young and Danny Rainey from Mossy Oak Camouflage as they use their Featherflex decoys to capture a show-me gobbler's attention.
plenty there.
Well, that's good.
Excellent. Man, my heart's still pounding.
Mine is too. It was tough when I couldn't see. I was more excited if I had gun, I believe. Especially when he gobbled right over the ridge.
I was afraid it was over.
All right, let's tag it, dude.
Yes, sir.
It's breakfast time.
Amen, Danny.
We got to put this thing on. Let's get some orange out of here.
Yeah.
I know
We don't want to get shot.
we don't want to get shot. We've been up here for 2 days and killed 2 turkeys for 2 years in a row, and we need to,
Hey, bud, this is the 3rd year.
getting old and forgetful.
Yep.
I can't find my orange. I know I stuffed it back in there yesterday. There we go. I think this is the kid orange.
That's okay. Oh.
Like you want me to, you tote the turkey and I'll tote the gun. How's that?
Man, I don't mind carrying all of it. I'll carry you if I have to.
The gun's a lot lighter than the turkey. Let's go down the hill.
Don't ever forget that a gobbler's eyesight is his #1 defense mechanism. Those last few hunts proved just that. You know, misses are a result of a lack of concentration by the hunter when the gobbler's in close. Coupled with the fact that a gobbler's head is very small, and you can see why turkey hunters miss turkeys every year. On these next 2 hunts, you'll see as yours truly misses 2 gobblers from the very same tree. As my failure to call and stop these gobblers resulted in me having to shoot at a small moving target. The end result is that both gobblers won.
Is that him?
What's wrong, Steve?
Within about 15 minutes, Steve was presented with another chance at a different gobbler from the very same tree.
Spot.
Huh?
Oh, don't blame it on me.
Did you have him on film then?
On this hunt, I joined my uncle Marvin Drury as he tries his luck on an early morning gobbler.
Marvin strikes again.
Here's Don Kiske on an unbelievable miss. I think Don's interview after the hunt sums it up the best.
Boy, that hurts.